Okay, welcome back to another episode of Cooking with Mr. Dan. Now, people have asked me, why do I cook in skillets a lot or cast iron? I like it. And if the food comes out, I think you get a better crispness on it, better doneness, I think, on the outer crust I'm talking about. And I can cook eggs in it. I can go directly from the stove to the oven, not having to worry about is it safe, the handle ain't gonna melt off. But anyway, so I'm going to show you guys how I clean them after I cook with them. And then you'll get to see exactly how easy this is. All right, let's get started real quick. Okay, so here is said pan that I just got done cooking some chicken in. I think I was showing you guys a video of how to velvetize chicken. Well, this is that same skillet, my number 6 Wagner. Antique skillet, Wagner Sydney O. That's that. This is what I seasoned. This is all I bought this container of Crisco. I had another one. I've already used it. But every time I use the pan, I put another layer of grease on it after I clean it. Okay, so here we have a brush, a little scraper. This is a Lodge scraper. It works pretty well for getting certain things off. And we have chainmail, nice, normal, little rounded chain links, as you can see. Helps get a lot of stuff off. And then, of course, we have paper towels. Okay, let's get to it. Okay, there's numerous ways of doing it. There's so many videos out there with people saying this works. You know, I'm going to tell you right now, it's not that difficult, and you don't need to go out and buy all those I'm not going to mention any names, but all these places and these websites that sell the seasoning and everything, all the cleaning utensils. The first thing you want to do, if the skillet's still kind of warm, is try to wipe some of your bottom of the skillet out with a paper towel. And if that doesn't get it out, like some of this here, I've left it sit because I wanted it to stick on there. See, I got some out, but not much. So then, what I like to do is I like to put some warm water in here, just water, no soap at this time. You can't, let me tell you, if you got good seasoning, you know, people are going to say you can't wash it with soap. That's a no-no. Well, really, it is to a point, but if your seasoning is on there as good as you think it is, it's pretty well protected. Okay, so that being said, I'm going to take my brush here, okay, and I just go round and round. Just trying to, now this has been, I left this out a while. I usually clean it right away. As soon as I take it off the stove, I clean it right away. But anyway, I'm hoping some of this stuff sticks a little bit. Right now, most of it's coming off. But this is just with water, okay? That's all it is. And you can stick your fingernails in it, you can scratch it up. Don't use no real, don't get in there with a disc sander or nothing trying to clean it. That's ridiculous, but it's not difficult at all. Just, it may take a little extra time, but if you treat these pans right, they'll perform for you till you'll be long dead before these things will give up. I don't know what year exactly this pan here was made. This was made a while ago. It's an antique. Okay, so I still have a couple little bits in there you can see. See here and there and there. Okay. So now I take either, here we'll try this is just a little piece of plastic, but what it does, it gets down into the curve of the pan, see? And it also has a straight edge on it. And you should be able to clean it up pretty well just with this. Okay? Start off, take a paper towel again. Wipe the whole thing out. Now a lot of people would say, okay, this is done. It's ready for the next time I cook. I don't like that. I want to make sure that everything's well coated in here with oil. I don't want no rust. Because these things, when you first get them, I got a pot coming. I'm going to show you guys. I'm going to do another video on from start to finish. Getting all the rust out. But there's so many different methods and ways of doing stuff. And I'm just, you could use lard. You could use lard not to clean it, but to season it. You can use any oil that you have, cooking oil, sesame seed oil, safflower oil, any cooking oil. There's so many ways of doing it, and everybody thinks their way is the best. All you want to do is heat it up to where you get up to a smoke point. In other words, where the pores of the skillet is opening up, and then that oil, whatever type you're using, I'm using Crisco, but whatever type of seasoning thing you're using, it goes to the smoke point. I think the smoke point on Crisco, I think, is about 400, 450. Well, that means once that temperature gets up, it'll start smoking. Well, that's when the polymerization starts. It'll start sealing the pan. Okay, so as you can see, that pan's pretty well cleaned out. And that was just with water and a little bit of the brushing and then paper towel, and I used a little bit of the plastic cleaner. I used some of the chainmail. Didn't have to use all those, but I did just to show you guys there's different mechanisms of what to use to clean it. You don't want to mess up the surface of the pot. I call them pots, but the skillet, whatever. You don't want to gouge it. You don't want to rip up any of the seasoning that you already have on there. The more you use it, the better seasoned it'll be. When we got one time, I forget where it was from, but it was almost like a mirror on certain parts of it. This thing was like never cleaned, but it was seasoned so well. But in the middle, it was down to bare metal. So that means I had to take all that good seasoning off of there and start from scratch. Well, you got to keep using it. So you got to build it up more and more. Each time you use it, another layer of the polymerization occurs, and that's how you get what they call non-stick surface. So right now I have the pan on, I got the heat on, trying to dry up any moisture that might be left from when we just cleaned it. Okay, now the pan's heated up a little. I want to show you guys, this is a coffee filter, and what I sometimes do, sometimes, not all the time, I use these, and I just fold it into like a little triangle kind of deal, and then I take and I get some Crisco on there, I dab it in here, I got just a little bit on there, okay, and then real quick, like, you don't want to burn your fingertips off, you wipe that all inside the pan. Well, the reason we come up with that is because there's other things that you use, they'll take, they leave lint in there, but I also use like this here, I'll use a paper towel, see, fold it up and double it so you don't burn your fingers, and go around and around. And you just keep going like that, see? And you want a very thin layer of oil in there. You don't want to pile up the grease. You see how little that is? And anywhere you see that you have a puddle, just get it out of there, because it'll harden on there. And I'll do this a couple of times. And then usually what I do is I'll let it go to the smoking point, and then I call it a day. But it's real easy. Just wipe it out, get everything you can going. I've seen some people, I watched some videos, they crack me up. They'll load this thing up with grease. I don't know how they get away with it, but they'll load it up and load it up. I mean, there's like a big puddle sitting in there. And then they'll just sit there and watch it. And then once it gets like really liquidy, then they wipe it off. Then sometimes, not all the time, but then I go to the back side and the bottom. See the difference? Just putting a little coat of oil in there. I don't do this every single time, because, you know, I don't cook on the outside of the pot. But it's just to help it, you know, make sure it doesn't get any rust on it. Because you don't want, after you slave to clean these things in the beginning, you don't want no rust. You don't want to have to start over again. And that's not really starting over, there's just a different mechanism. Use a little bit of vinegar. I'm not going into that part of it. This is just a cleaning. After you get done using it, I'm going to kick the heat up now, put it on high, try to get a little smoke on here, so that way we know we got a nice polymerization going. And then that's it. Then we put it up and we're ready to use it for the next time. it's pretty something just sitting there and just watching it, waiting for it to start a little bit of wispy smoke coming out of there. I usually do this on the main stove because it's a little quicker. It gets hotter quicker. But this is just nice and convenient. But it looks, I'm just giving you guys the idea of what to do. It's so simple. And yes, it does take a little bit of time, but it's just like washing your dishes, your pots and pans. You know, like you get in the sink, you get some stuff crusted on there, you can spend a half hour trying to clean it off. So, same difference. But these here, like I said, I like the cast iron. I try to use it as much as possible when I remember. But yeah, the thing I like about it, like when I make pizza, I can take this thing, I can cook in it, put a thin layer of oil in the bottom, throw some dough in there, make a nice little sauce, put all that, and then throw it right in the oven. Just got to make sure you got a hot pad though when it come out, because they'd be screaming. But I don't know if you guys can see, but there is a little light wisping of smoke coming off. They're very light, and that's what we're looking for. Once it starts its thing, that means it's hot enough where it's smoking, where the oil has reached its smoke point. It's baking into the metal, okay? And that's where you want to make sure that you don't be going and grabbing the handle like a crazy man, okay? And you see it's heating up just like we wanted it. See, it's smoking a little bit. And this right now is ready to be used again. It's got a thin layer on there, as you can see. It's clean, nice, huh? And we're ready to use that again for the next cook. And that's all there is to it. So I showed you guys this. Now when I get my new pans in, I'll show you the method I use to break everything down and re-season the pan. But that looks pretty good. And you can cook with that just the way it is. You got to still put some oil in there, just like always. But the pan, as it is, it's done. Okay, so this is Mr. Dan right now saying, when you're out and about, cover up, protect yourself as well as others. Wash your hands, wash your hands. Don't talk with your mouth full. Give us a thumbs up. Share with your friends and neighbors too. If they get some cast iron, show them how to clean it up. And as always, subscribe if you haven't yet. And when you do, a little notification bell pop down. You hit that. That'll notify you each time we come up with another video, something similar to this. This is helping you clean your pots. So without further ado, just to let you know, when you're hungry, you want to learn how to clean a pot, come back to here. Stay hungry, my friends. And when you are, come back, and we'll show you another cleaning recipe or another dish just like this. This is Mr. Dan saying, stay healthy, keep your pots clean, and they'll be good to you. We're out.